NFL note. Turning the page on an epic and dramatic failure is never an easy thing to do, especially when that epic and dramatic failure is so public, so humiliating, and so very, very cringy and corny.
That's corny.
That's right. I'm looking at you, Captain Cringe. All Russell Wilson wants to do is just move the hell on. And instead, he keeps getting dragged over and over and over again. Right when I thought that it couldn't get any worse than Tariq Woolen saying that the dude is built like a sack of potatoes. I mean, that's an incredible line. You see him on TV, and he looks like he's in shape, and then you see him in person, and he looks like he's a sack of potatoes. And then one of the other dudes jumps in with, he might be out of shape. And then don't forget, Woolen also added he's short. So I thought that was pretty much rock bottom.
Don't forget Mark.
One of the best things ever, but rock bottom. However, this morning, old Russet got dragged again. There's a brand new piece in The Athletic, which basically revealed that as horrible as everything looked in Denver last night, it was even worse than that, even cheesier than that, even cornier than that, even cringier than that. I mean, I don't even know what the biggest nugget was. Maybe the biggest headline was the nugget from February. In fact, why don't we start right there? AKA before the sack of potatoes landed in Denver when he was still, hey, Seattling, instead of Broncos countrying.
Broncos country.
It's when he attempted to storm the palace with this attempted coup. An attempted failed power play. Check this out. According to this column, quote, convinced that Carroll and Schneider were inhibiting his quest to win additional Super Bowls and individual awards, Wilson asked Seahawks ownership to fire both of them, according to league sources who spoke to The Athletic on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the details. End of quote. He didn't just try to run off the gum assassin. He tried to blow out the GM as well. The speed talker already could not look any better in the Russ divorce, except right now he somehow looks even better because the tater continues to eat L's.
Consider that a divorce.
I mean, obviously, Seahawk brass sided with Carroll and Schneider, which led to the incredibly awkward and even less effective partnership of Cringerous and Nate Can't Hack It, whose first mistake in a long, long list of mistakes was letting the tuber have his own office. A guy who says he's all about the team, a team-first guy, a locker room guy, doesn't even go into the locker room. Make that make sense. The sack of potatoes does nobody any good acting like he's better than the rest of them by separating himself from the rest of them and just kicking it on the second floor. And no, I don't need to hear that song. Bad enough to be pulling this crap, but if you're going to pull this crap, you better make it to the postseason and you better make a deep run. Instead, they end up going 5-12. They have arguably their worst or most disappointing season ever, and the coach doesn't even make it out of his first season, largely because that coach let Russ do whatever the hell Russ wanted to do. Let's ride. Yeah, let's
Broncos
ride.
country. Let's ride.
Let's ride your ass back down to the locker room where you belong.
Broncos country.
Because, you know, Sean Payton's not going to tolerate any of that crap. He's not going to tolerate any of Russ's cringy, corny, cheesy crap either. You know, like also according to this column, rolling with his own QB coach, rolling with his own nutritionist, and rolling with his own physical therapist. And they were all on property. They were all inside the facility. And if he has his own nutritionist, why does he look like, quote, a sack of potatoes? And if he has his own quarterback coach, why did he play like crap? And if he has his own quarterback coach, who is he listening to? That guy or the actual quarterback coach employed by the team, or more importantly, the actual head coach. In fact, you know what? Personally, I'm shocked that Russ didn't just bring in his own head coach. He brought in his own quarterback coach. Why not bring in his own head coach? Like, just kind of walk around the facility with the guy that he really wanted, Sean Payton. I'm surprised Russett didn't bring in his own team. No, I don't mean like a team of his own personal people. I mean like 52 other dudes that he handpicked. His own team. Hey, back to the office. So he's got his own office. But I will say this, he did use the office, and he did put that office to use. He actually used the hell out of the office. According to The Athletic, he was drawing up his own plays. He even called his own offensive meetings, but he did so on Tuesdays. As everybody knows, Tuesday is the one day a week that NFLers get off on game weeks. Yet he's bringing these guys in on Tuesdays. Because who doesn't love to sit through long, corny, ineffective, self-absorbed meetings on their off days? But the worst part was the film Russ was showing in these meetings. Because there wasn't very much Bronco tape, apparently he was breaking down Seahawk film. Or more accurately, Seahawks highlights. His own Seahawks highlights. Quote, it was kind of like he was going down memory lane with stuff that he had done in Seattle, said one offensive player. It was some very strange weeks. End of quote. Yeah, I'd say it was pretty strange, pretty sad, and even more than sad, pretty cringe. I mean, there were some pretty horrendous moments from the very brief Nate Can't Hack It era. But I got to say, one of my favorite ones was Bronco fans sarcastically counting down the play clock to clown the fact that the offense could not get snaps off in time. Or maybe they were actually trying to help. Turns out, Russett had his fingerlings. Alvin, where's the ding? Thank you. Russett, Spud, Mashed, had his fingerlings all over that too. We all thought that Nate Can't Hack It just couldn't get the plays in on time. But according to these sources from The Athletic, Can't Hack It was getting the plays in plenty of time. The problem was, reportedly, Cringerous was going Cringerous in the huddle and giving pep talks along with the play calls. Quote, mostly in the beginning, Wilson would give us a motivational speech to get us going before the play, Judy said. Quote, I don't think he would say anything extra or anything unnecessary. He would give us the call and some motivational words and a little something extra like, get this block. But I don't think it was nothing long-winded. Yeah, well, apparently it was long-winded enough that delay of games became such a big thing that Bronco fans had to count down the play clock. So he must have been giving pretty long-winded speeches. Dude was probably like, yo, fellas. Hey, fellas, let's ride. No, he was like, hey, fellas. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get up. Yo, fellas, listen. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Oh, and turn chicken bleep into chicken salad. Green, right, X, shift, Viper. Timeout.
Call timeout, Mike.
Call timeout, Russett. Like, there's so many amazing details in this column. You've got to read the whole thing. One of my favorites, though, was, quote, Wilson hired a new publicist as his image suffered through the difficult season, end of quote. As if any publicist could positively spin any of that corn, any of that cringe, or any of that cheese, or make that season anything other than the worst Broncos season ever. Whatever that publicist told the reporters from The Athletic obviously went in one ear and right out the other. I mean, that was your solution to hitting rock bottom last year? Bring in a new publicist to change out Broncos country, let's ride, to Broncos country, let's cringe. Broncos country, let's cheese.
Broncos country.
Let's corn. Broncos country, let's cheese.
Let's ride.
Listen, if anybody can de-cringe, D corn or D cheese, the sack of potatoes that is russet, it's Sean Payton. Notice I said if anyone can, because I'm not sure at this point anyone can. Just as I don't know when all of this corn and cringe is going to come to an end with cringerous. But speaking for myself, I hope the answer is never, because I simply cannot get enough. Sack of potatoes, let's cringe.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Russet
Broncos country.
probably asked for a team name.
Broncos country.
Hey,
let's ride.
Hey, Nate, can we just change the name to the Denver Russets? The Denver Fingerlings? Hey, maybe actually. The Denver Yukon Golds? It may be the Denver Scallops. Maybe we could actually just move the team to Idaho and then become the Idaho Russets. Play exclusively in the Potato Bowl. Russet? He puts the A in team. A is in awkward. Man, how pumped do you think Pete Carroll is right about now? Pete Carroll must have been so tired of Russ's bleep and wanted him out of Seattle so fast. He would have rather started Jim, what's your deal? Harbaugh as his quarterback. What's my deal? What's my deal? I got a diva for a QB who wants to sit on my chair in my office, who wants to get me fired and the GM. That's my deal. I mean, don't get me wrong. This dude's still a Hall of Famer. Well, as of right now. But instead of a yellow jacket, you know what they should do? They should fit him with an upside-down burlap sack with holes for sleeves.